Well, you're here because you filled out a survey about a guy and he scored a C. In many important ways, this guy is falling short. Welcome to the Strong Brew, where you get answers to questions you're not supposed to ask. These are some things you may want to know about the man in your life. If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure? Will he try and use money to control you? Will he share housework or just make you do it all? In fights, when he gets angry, does he get aggressive? During intimacy, does he understand that no means no? Is he jealous, suspicious, or possessive? Will his attitude towards you change after having kids? Will he treat your parents with respect? What if you have conflicts with his parents? We tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. These are things nobody else will tell you, things that are important for your future. This is a safe space for truth. No judgment, no platitudes, no login, no payment either. Our questions are from real life, but our answers come from science. Now, I built this thing, me and my husband, and honestly, we built it and we live it. We are both Stanford grads, we both have worked at Google, and we've been happily together since 1998. Along the way, we've added a son, now 13, and 4 dogs. We are genuine folks. If you're a woman trying to understand any man in your life, here is how it works. Go to www.thestrongbrew.life. Click on the Understand a Guy button there. Answer 10 questions about him. Watch a video tailored to your guy. That's all there is to it. It is completely anonymous, no login, no payment, no games, no manipulation. This analysis is obtained by combining solid trait psychology with cutting edge AI ML. We represent each person's personality with what is known as a feature vector. This has 10 elements, so our data is effectively 10 dimensional data. In case you're wondering how we can infer so much from just 10 questions, well, 10 dimensional data is very complex. There is a lot you can learn from that level of detail.
Okay, I think that does it for the preamble. Now let's plunge in. Let's start with this guy in his career. Will he go far or just talk big?
He's not someone who will climb very high in his career, even if he sometimes talks a lot or sounds excited about work. Most of his energy goes into chatting and being pleasant, not actually pushing himself or staying focused. Don't count on big results from his side.
Can he bounce back from failure?
When problems pop up at work, he's more likely to get upset and pull back instead of handling things calmly. He might get worked up, feel overwhelmed quickly, or even say he just can't deal with it. He doesn't have a strong coping style, so small setbacks can feel huge to him.
What do people at work think of him? Do they like him?
People at work usually find him friendly and polite, so he's not the type to get into loud arguments or create big scenes. He likes to keep others happy and will often avoid direct fights, so he's more likely to be liked than truly respected.
If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure?
If you succeed in your career, he might not feel very threatened or insecure, but he may not show deep pride or excitement either. He tends to avoid competition and doesn't tie his self worth to achievement, so your success won't bruise his ego. He'll probably be pleasant about it on the surface, maybe even cheerful for you, but don't expect lots of enthusiasm or meaningful support.
What if you start earning more than him?
He's unlikely to secretly resent you or feel very insecure if you earn more than him. Money and status don't bother him too much, and he doesn't measure himself by such things. There won't be bitterness, but don't look for excitement or driven partnership either.
Next, let's talk about how he is with money. Does he overspend? Is he reckless with money?
He isn't very careful with money, and planning or saving is not his strength. He tends to spend on things that catch his interest in the moment, often without much thought about the future. If financial trouble comes, he's more likely to avoid dealing with it than make a plan.
Does he show off and pretend to be richer than he is?
He is not much for showing off, but he also doesn't plan his spending very well. Most of the time, he lives in the moment and doesn't really think about what he can or can't afford. It's more about thoughtlessness than trying to look wealthy.
Is he too generous, too stingy, or just right?
He isn't especially warm or generous with his feelings or his money. While he won't go out of his way to be stingy or say no harshly, you might notice he's not the type to reach out and help or share without thinking twice. If you want someone genuinely caring and giving, you might feel a bit let down.
Will he use money to try and control you?
He's not secretive or controlling about money. He just isn't that involved in financial matters. If you ask him about spending or saving, he'll likely tell you, sometimes without much detail, because he doesn't keep a close watch himself. He isn't the type to hide things or play power games with money.
Let's see how this guy is with sharing housework. Will he share housework or just make you do it?
He doesn't have strong opinions about who should do housework and won't insist it's only your job. Most likely, he'll go along with whatever keeps things peaceful and avoids conflict, but he might not take much initiative to help out on his own. If sharing housework is important to you, you'll have to communicate clearly and keep nudging him.
Will he help you or just boss you around and tell you what to do?
He isn't likely to jump in and handle chores or diapers on his own without being asked. Most of the time, he'll stay on the sidelines, maybe watching or chatting while you do the work, but not really getting his hands dirty. If you want real support at home, you'll need to be clear and ask directly.
Now let's see about how this guy is during fights. In fights, does he try to understand your views or just win the fight?
He doesn't usually argue to prove that he's right, but he also doesn't put in much effort to truly understand your side. If a disagreement comes up, he tends to avoid conflict. He might nod along or stay quiet rather than have a real discussion. Instead of arguing, he's likely to retreat and wait for things to blow over, which can leave you feeling unheard or alone with your feelings.
Does he become aggressive when angry?
When he's angry, he might get very emotional or upset, but he won't usually become aggressive or say truly hurtful things on purpose. Instead, he's more likely to pull away, go silent, or act moody. His main way of handling anger is to withdraw, so you might see a cold shoulder or distance until he cools off rather than harsh words or aggressive actions.
Does he have a bad temper?
Yes, he does tend to get upset or lose his temper faster than many people. Small problems can make him feel stressed or irritated, sometimes leading to sudden mood changes or even snapping over little things. While he's not usually harsh or violent, living with someone who reacts quickly can create tension at home.
Will he say sorry and accept his mistakes?
Saying sorry and taking responsibility doesn't come easily to him. When something goes wrong, he's more likely to withdraw, act moody, or avoid the topic rather than admit fault. He struggles to openly own up to his mistakes, so you may not hear a genuine apology very often.
Next, let's talk about intimacy and physical chemistry. During intimacy, does he respect your boundaries? Does he get that no means no?
He is generally polite and doesn't like to cause conflict, so he's likely to respect your boundaries, especially if you are clear and firm about them. He doesn't have a pushy nature and usually avoids situations where there might be tension or disagreement. As long as you are clear, he will accept your limits without much fuss.
If you are not in the mood for intimacy, will he react badly?
Yes, he is likely to take it personally if you're not in the mood for intimacy. Even if you explain gently, he might feel hurt, rejected, or withdraw into himself instead of simply understanding. He doesn't easily brush off these situations and he's sensitive to feeling unwanted.
Can you trust him not to shame you or share your private moments, maybe love letters, photos, or videos, even after a breakup or a bad fight?
You can generally trust him not to use private or intimate moments to hurt or embarrass you later. He isn't the type to hold grudges or bring up personal things just to win a fight or shame you. Overall, you're safe from cruelty, even if you don't always feel deeply cherished.
Is he loyal or is he likely to want to have affairs?
He isn't likely to go looking for excitement or trouble with other women, but he also doesn't have strong self control or deep commitment in relationships. Most of the time, he's content with comfort and routine, so he isn't always chasing after someone new. He's not a big risk taker, but he isn't deeply loyal either.
Will he be jealous, suspicious, and try to control you?
He isn't usually over possessive or controlling. Most of the time, he doesn't have the energy or drive to keep tabs on you or act jealous. While he can get upset easily, it's not likely to show up through possessive or suspicious behaviors.
This guy says he is protective in a good way. Is he actually just being possessive?
No, his behavior doesn't come across as genuinely protective or controlling. He isn't the type to take charge, make rules, or watch over you closely. If anything, you may find he is too hands off, not involved enough rather than overbearing.
Now, onto the topic of kids and how this guy will be as a father. If you guys have kids, will he make you do most of the work?
He isn't likely to take charge or jump in as an equal partner when it comes to parenting. Most of the time, he'll quietly expect you to handle most of the work, especially the daily routines and emotional care. It's not out of bad intentions, just his habit to step back and let things happen on their own.
Kids are very messy. Will he lose his temper with them?
When the kids mess up or get upset, he's likely to lose his temper quickly rather than stay calm. Small problems can make him frustrated or anxious, and he might react with sharp words or raised voice, even if he doesn't mean deep harm. Sometimes he'll get overwhelmed and pull away, leaving you to handle things alone.
If you guys have kids, will he still support your career?
He won't stand in your way or push you to give up your dreams, but he may not go out of his way to lift you up either. He usually just goes along with things to keep life easy. So if you want real support or cheering, as both a mom and an individual, you might feel a bit alone. You'll likely be doing most of the work in building your own sense of identity, with him just quietly watching from the sidelines.
Will this man say one thing early on, maybe while dating, and then later after kids and marriage change his tune and try to make you give up your career?
He is not the type to have hidden plans or set strong expectations about your career. He usually just lets things happen and avoids difficult conversations or demands. However, don't expect active encouragement or deep thought about your future.
Next, let's see how this guy treats your parents. Will he be respectful with your parents?
He will most likely be polite and pleasant with your parents, always using good manners and keeping the conversation friendly. However, don't expect deep warmth or genuine connection. His care usually stays on the surface and he doesn't easily build close emotional bonds. He won't be rude or disrespectful, but his interactions may feel formal or a bit distant rather than truly affectionate. He is more likely to quietly adjust to your family rather than expect them to change for him.
What if your family creates stress or interferes a bit in your lives?
If your family creates stress or interferes, he's more likely to get flustered or upset than handle it calmly. Instead of stepping in to help, he might become moody, withdraw, or avoid the situation, which can leave you dealing with the stress alone. While he won't start a big fight, his way of quietly bowing out or going silent could make things feel harder for you, not easier.
Then let's analyze the role this guy's family will play in your life. Is this man modern with you but a completely different person when other people, say his parents or bosses, are around?
Yes, this is possible with him. On his own, he may not have strict expectations or strong opinions about how you behave, but when relatives or elders are around, he's likely to quietly expect you to fit traditional roles just to keep peace. He won't push you hard himself, but he also won't stand up for you if family members want you to act like a traditional supportive wife. Instead, he'll let things happen to avoid trouble.
If there is tension between you and his parents, will he support you?
If there's tension, he's most likely to stay out of it rather than support you or openly take your side. He doesn't like conflict and prefers to keep quiet or step back, hoping things settle down on their own. Even if you're right, he won't be quick to stand up for you against family pressure.
Say you have a conflict with his mother. What will this guy do?
He is likely to behave like a mummy's boy in many situations. When there's a conflict between you and his mother, he will usually avoid taking sides. But if he has to choose, he's more likely to stay silent or quietly lean toward his mother's wishes. Rarely will he openly stand up for you.
Will he share all the private details of your relationship with his mother or sister?
Yes, he may end up sharing details of your fights or private matters with his mother or sister, especially if he feels stressed or unsure about what to do. He often looks for comfort or advice from his family instead of handling things between just the two of you. It can create trust issues and make it harder to solve problems as a couple.
Now let's zoom out and put it all together.
So that's the story. This guy scores a C. In many important ways, this guy is falling short of the standard we would want. Day in and day out, being with this man often feels like you're carrying most of the emotional and practical load yourself. He brings some light moments, enjoys small pleasures, and tries to keep things peaceful, but he rarely steps up to share real responsibility or offer strong support.